Tonight on News 5 Live, Prime Minister John Briceño addresses the nation ahead of Hurricane Beryl's possible landfall in the north. Jamaica is battered by the Category 4 storm. Meanwhile, Belizeans evacuate San Pedro and Key Cocker. And major crimes are down, but murders are on the rise. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
My fellow Belizeans, I begin by expressing our solidarity with our CARICOM brothers and sisters in Barbados, Grenada, Jamaica, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who were or are being hit by ferocious Hurricane Beryl. We understand the challenges they are facing, and Belize will do its part to aid in the recovery efforts in our sister Caribbean nations. At present, Hurricane Beryl, the first major hurricane in this month-old hurricane season, is currently weakening considerably. It is next forecast to make landfall on the Yucatan Peninsula late Thursday night or early Friday morning as a Category 1 hurricane. This means it will have sustained winds between 74 and 95 miles per hour when it makes landfall. At 12 p.m., it was located 751 miles east of Belize City. Tropical storm force winds currently extend up to 80 miles from the center of the storm. Although the eye of the storm is not expected to pass over Belize, this is such a big storm that damaging effects could possibly be felt from Belize City to the northern districts of Corozal and Arinjoak, as well as Ambergris Caye and Key Cocker. Residents, especially in the north, should brace for strong winds gusting to tropical storm strength and heavy rainfall due to the hurricane's proximity to the northern half of our country. As of now, from Belize City to Corozal, as well as residents in the Keys, are under a tropical storm watch, which will later become a tropical storm warning. Residents in the north should prepare for flooding, especially those in low-lying, flood-prone areas. Strong winds may cause some structural damage to homes and could also result in losses in the agricultural sector. Since we face potential damaging impacts from this storm, it is crucial for everyone to be prepared. Please look after your family and friends by ensuring that all necessary precautions are taken for the safety of your loved ones. As you have seen, NEMO, the Met Office, and our national and district committees have all put their operations in place and are now operating in a state of heightened readiness. We thank the public officers, uniformed forces, and volunteers for their continued elevated level of preparedness and professionalism. They need your cooperation and understanding as they go about their duties. These officials are carefully preparing us. As we always say, NEMO and the Met Office should be our only sources of official information. Do not listen to rumors or social media posts that are not from official sources. Rest assured that government will ensure that all efforts are made for the safety and well-being of our communities. Hurricane Beryl is just the beginning of what is expected to be a highly active hurricane season. We may have to go through this again in the coming months, so it is essential that we remain informed and prepared. Together, and by the grace of our Creator, we will get through this. God bless Belize. I thank you.
newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, July 3rd. I am Sabrina Daly. Prime Minister John Bersenio addressed the nation in a video statement as several parts of the country remain under a tropical storm watch. PM Bersenio returned to the country today from an official visit to Panama. In his address, the head of government expressed solidarity with the CARICOM nations that have been devastated by Hurricane Beryl. He also emphasized the need for those living within the tropical storm watch area, especially in flood-prone areas, to make all the necessary preparations. As of tonight, the eye of the hurricane is forecasted to pass north of Belize in the Yucatan Peninsula. And if it stays on today's projected path, residents in northern Belize will experience potentially damaging wind gusts. Here is a portion of the Prime Minister's address to the nation.
My fellow Belizeans, I begin by expressing our solidarity with our CARICOM brothers and sisters in Barbados, Grenada, Jamaica, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who were or are being hit by ferocious Hurricane Beryl. We understand the challenges they are facing, and Belize will do its part to aid in the recovery efforts in our sister Caribbean nations. At present, Hurricane Beryl, the first major hurricane in this month-old hurricane season, is currently weakening considerably. It is next forecast to make landfall on the Yucatan Peninsula late Thursday night or early Friday morning as a Category 1 hurricane. This means it will have sustained winds between 74 and 95 miles per hour when it makes landfall. Although the eye of the storm is not expected to pass over Belize, this is such a big storm that damaging effects could possibly be felt from Belize City to the northern districts of Corozal and Arinjoak, as well as Ambergris Caye and Kikoko. Residents, especially in the north, should brace for strong winds gusting to tropical storm strength and heavy rainfall due to the hurricane's proximity to the northern half of our country. As of now, from Belize City to Corozal, as well as residents in the Keys, are under a tropical storm watch, which will later become a tropical storm warning. Residents in the north should prepare for flooding, especially those in low-lying, flood-prone areas. Strong winds may cause some structural damage to homes and could also result in losses in the agricultural sector. Since we face potential damaging impacts from this storm, it is crucial for everyone to be prepared. Please look after your family and friends by ensuring that all necessary precautions are taken for the safety of your loved ones.
This afternoon, Hurricane Beryl made landfall in Jamaica as a Category 4 hurricane. Later in our newscast, we will hear from one Belizean student studying on the island nation. But as Hurricane Beryl continues to move down a west-northwest projected path, it is expected to weaken as it encounters some wind shear. According to Chief Meteorologist Ronald Gordon, the tropical system is forecasted to weaken as a result before it makes landfall in the Yucatan Peninsula.
As of 3 local time this afternoon, Beryl was centered near latitude 17.5 degrees north, 77.6 degrees west. That puts the hurricane about just over 700 miles due east of Belize City. Beryl is moving to the west-northwest at 20 miles per hour and with maximum sustained winds of 140 miles per hour. The track is for Beryl to continue on a west-northwesterly track for the remainder of today and take a turn more towards the west later tonight or tomorrow, Thursday. And that forecast track, Beryl is expected to move south of the Cayman Islands tomorrow, still as a major hurricane, and then weaken slightly as it moves more into the northwestern Caribbean Sea, and eventually making landfall on the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico as either a strong Category 1 or weak Category 2 hurricane. Not much has changed since this morning in terms of the track forecast. It remains still relatively the same place as it was. We remain under a tropical storm watch from Belize City northward to the border with Mexico, including the islands of San Pedro and Kikaker. And again, reminding residents in those areas that a tropical storm watch means that tropical storm conditions are possible within the watch area, in this case, within the next 36 hours or so. The radius of tropical storm force winds, since that is what we're looking at here, extend on the southern quadrant or the southern semicircle of the storm, extend out to about 80 miles. And if you look at the map between the projected location of landfall and the border with Mexico, that's a little bit over, I would say, 100 miles. Therefore, we are looking at the possibility, like I said, there's a small chance that the extreme northern parts of the areas under watch would experience tropical storm force winds if the system takes the most probable path and move within the center of the cone. There is always that small chance that it moves on the southern edge of the cone, which would necessitate, of course, us upgrading this thing to a warning, a tropical storm warning, or even a hurricane warning. That is a very small chance. We, of course, keep monitoring for that particular reason. We look at any slight jog to the west, any shift in terms of the track, and we make that determination.
So what possible impacts will Belize City experience if Hurricane Beryl continues down the current projected path and makes landfall as a Category 2 hurricane in the Yucatan Peninsula? According to Gordon, it will likely result in a rainy and windy day for the old capital, with wind speeds of up to 25 miles per hour. He further noted that the current tropical storm watch will likely be upgraded to a warning if the system shifts slightly southward.
We do have the watch in place to alert residents in this particular area that there is the possibility that they may experience tropical storm conditions, like I said, late Thursday into Friday morning. Now, apart from the winds of a tropical storm, which is between 39 miles per hour and 73 miles per hour, there are other hazards associated with the system, which includes heavy rainfall. And the rainfall projections now are for 4 to 6 inches of rainfall as the system crosses, with locally higher values. Of course, we are aware of the situation in terms of the saturated soils. With the relatively strong and gusty winds, we expect sea conditions to be rough. We do expect some swells to be generated by the system and create large battering waves that may affect portions of the coast in the watch area as well.
If the storm continues down the projected path and it maintains the level of strength that is forecasted at landfall 1 or 2, what can we expect for the Orange Walk district and the Belize district, Belize City in particular?
As I have always said, no. Precision and details will increase with time. We're still 36 hours out. And to be honest with you, we know that forecast will never be precise. It will never be precise to the level that people would want in terms of precision and details. But just to give you some idea, we do know that the extreme north of the country, as I said before, will be the area that will be most impacted by the winds. Those will decrease rapidly as they move away from that area. For instance, in Belize City, based on what we're seeing currently, we are looking at a windy, gusty day with winds of about 15 to 25 knots late Thursday, Friday, due to the system. Orange Walk perhaps increasing to about 20 to 30 knots, and then further up it will be a bit higher.
The National Hydrological Service is monitoring the heavy rainfall that Hurricane Beryl is forecasted to bring across the country. An urbanized flood warning has been issued for residents living within the tropical storm watch area. Principal hydrologist Tennille Hendy says residents in the north will continue to experience flooding.
Just to update on the existing or the current flood forecast, we do have an urbanized flood warning in effect from Belize City to Corozal districts. And there is also a flood alert in the south for the Moho and Temash rivers, as those water levels have been rapidly increasing since our forecast this morning. The flood outlook and in regards to the update given by Chief Met, we expect that those areas that are in the north that are still suffering from persisting flooding conditions, we expect that to continue. And for those who have, expect a compounding effect given the very conservative 6 inches of rainfall that is expected. When the soil is at normal, if we want to say, it's not been a drought period or intense wildfires impacting the soil moisture. The soil is very loose, and so it allows water, any element to be subsumed or passes through that medium. With the drought, it then compacts that soil somewhat, and it reduces that function of any element being able to pass through it. So it effectively stops the ecosystem function.
Coming up, San Pedranos evacuate while the police department prepares to stand watch.
My name is Waluko Mejia. I'm the general manager at Copal Tree Lodge here in Toledo, Belize. The Belize Bank service we appreciate most is the Belize Bank ATM and the use of its debit card. It makes it very accessible for our employees here at Copal Tree Lodge. Essentially, they could access the ATM on their way home after work, and also that the local stores accept the use of a debit card.
Tell me, what about our owner today?
I recently do a Red Girl video. I get more views than Harriet. And you know one person had the nerve to post that I am not even a Red Girl? I mean, like, what that mean anyway?
Well, here what about me? Every time I go buy meat pie, and I go, so, nothing in there. Nothing.
So this is my issue. I over 18. I don't want no one artist. And you could believe my man still expect me for wash dishes? Look at time for that. I out there for dishes. Yes.
And you, sir?
Well, I don't really got their kind of problems, you know. Ever since I switched to DJ and signed up for my unlimited postpaid plan, life stress-free. Nothing bother me or my connection no more.
In Belize, we value our families, we value our communities, we value our neighbors. 90% of Belizeans think it's time for laws that protect all of us and reflect society at its best. 94% of Belizeans agree that public spaces in Belize should be more accessible to people living with disabilities. In Belize, we believe in fair treatment and supporting one another. We know that our beautiful country is at its best when we come together for the greater good. 2 out of 3 Belizeans support a new law to prevent discrimination in employment and public spaces. It shouldn't matter where we come from, who we love, or what we look like. Belizeans deserve to live our best lives. It's time for laws that protect all of us and reflect our society at its best. equal opportunities bill. Belize, we're ready.
Toledo East needs a new representative, and Dennis Williams is the right candidate at the right time. A fresh face, but a seasoned activist.
In 2002, I started with the former Minister of Human Development, Eden Martinez. I was active in the campaign, village to village. In the town council, I supported Mayor Floyd Lino, Mayor Fern Gutierrez, Mayor Ashton.
Wow.
So whenever there's election, I go full force, yes. I go full force.
Having established a close connection with his people, he is ready and able to serve as their area representative.
And I decided that, you know what, I am hearing from them direct. I am already serving the people. If I can do it in that capacity, they will be the first person that I will look after.
A more approachable and compassionate person you cannot find. This, combined with his drive to get things done, makes Disha just the area representative Toledo East needs.
After the election, I don't see red, blue, white, green. I will help everyone. And they know that I am a person, I have this drive that nothing will stop me. Mm-hmm. And we have been neglected for too long. So I want to be the person to make the difference.
It is time for change, and Disha will make the difference for Toledo East.
Welcome to Design Depot, home of Sherwin-Williams Paint. Sherwin-Williams Paint is one of the most reputable paints in the industry, known for its superior quality, durability, and environmentally friendly technology. We carry a large variety of products for all your home and commercial needs, such as interior and exterior paints, primers, wood stains, sealers, clear top coats, caulking, aerosols, concrete, and masonry products. Achieve professional-looking results with ease using Sherwin-Williams paint and coating. Design Depot, all in one place.
Jamaica felt the fury of Hurricane Beryl as it made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane just after midday. The storm continues to batter Jamaica with powerful winds and torrential rains. The government of Jamaica declared a curfew from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. today. Approximately 1 hour before Hurricane Beryl made landfall in Jamaica, we spoke with one Belizean student currently pursuing a graduate degree on the island town. Briannie Smith decided to weather the hurricane inside her dormitory at the University of the West Indies. Here's what she told us.
Since this morning, it's just been a constant downpour of rain. It gets lighter and sometimes it's a little bit harder, but it doesn't completely stop. There hasn't been much winds since this morning, but as of the past, I would say 10 to 15 minutes, there has been a pickup in the winds. The traffic on a regular day is already kind of bad. So has just been crazy. Everybody filling up the supermarkets, everybody trying to scramble and get their last minute supplies. But I would say everybody is in a state of slight panic because for a lot of people it's their first hurricane as adults. And for a lot of them, it's the first hurricane of this magnitude since they can remember. So I would say everybody's in a slight panic, myself as well. For the most part, I'm relatively safe because I live on the 6th floor of my building and my room comes with shutters and my windows are shutterproof. But I've also been making, little precautions. So moving my furniture away from the window where water and anything can seep in. I've been stocking up as well on my non-perishables, ensuring that all of my devices are charged, ensuring that I have data on my phone in the event that power goes out. Kingston on a regular basis has water issues, so we can only imagine what's to come. So I've been trying to fill up any empty bottle that I have so far in my apartment to just make sure that in the event that water does go away, that I have enough to last me for at least 2 to 3 days. It's a bit scary, especially because I'm weathering the storm alone. But I have to say that I'm very grateful for my friends and family in Belize and those in Jamaica that know my situation, that have been checking in on me routinely, asking me for the latest update, and ensuring that I feel very supported during this time. I would say across the island, a lot of people are fearful for the damages that it could do to their roofs, because water is one thing, but water and wind at the same time, uncontrollable, is another. So for me, I think that my building is able to withstand, at least, I would say, the rain. I'm not too sure about how it's going to hold up against the wind, and when branches start breaking and projectiles start to get up in the wind and stuff like that. I'm not too sure how it's going to hold up against that, but I think that for the most part, I'm pretty safe.
The past few days have been filled with anticipation as Belizeans and neighbors from the Caribbean and Central America brace for Hurricane Beryl. Officials from the National Meteorological Service say that the storm will not pose a direct threat to Belize. Nonetheless, the public is advised to proceed with caution as the storm may change its path at any moment. With that in mind, hundreds of Belizeans are evacuating their homes in San Pedro and Kikoker to seek shelter on the mainland. Local airlines and water taxis are suspending services until an all-clear is given. News 5's Brittany Gordon spoke to a few of those businesses today for more information. Here's that story.
In the next 24 hours, Hurricane Beryl is anticipated to make landfall in the Yucatan Peninsula. According to the National Meteorological Service, Belize is not in the direct path of the Category 4 hurricane, but is expected to receive heavy rain, winds, and flooding, particularly in the northern districts. Considering this, Caribbean Sprinter and San Pedro Belize Express water taxi services are taking precautions to ensure the safety of their customers and employees by suspending services. We spoke with Shamika Penil, marketing manager at San Pedro Belize Express, for more information on this decision.
Well, right now we're just in preparation to bring in everyone in from the island as much as we can. Right now it's still voluntary evacuation. Today is our last day of operation. So we're doing 5 runs from Kikoker and San Pedro. And after that, that's the end of our operations for today until further notice.
Penel explained that the last boat left San Pedro at 3 o'clock and at 3:30 from Kikoker this afternoon. She said that the company has seen a steady stream of customers as people continue to evacuate the islands.
I recently checked in with the port manager in San Pedro, and he's saying at least 600 persons, and that was about an hour ago. Yeah.
So that's been within the past 2 days?
No, that's just for today. That's just for today in these runs.
Many residents are leaving the islands to ensure their own safety. However, a few are returning to the mainland to be with family members who are also at risk. Christian Puerto, a San Pedro resident, told us that he is heading back to his family in Corozal to help during the storm.
Me personally, the last one that hit was just a tropical storm, and this is the first major hurricane that I'm gonna have to be evacuating from the island. And yes, I've noticed a lot of people, especially a lot of people from mainland Belize, they're kind of evacuate the islands. Most of the people I noticed staying in the islands are the people that are from the island, but most of the people that work on the island are from the out district. They're definitely heading back home. Everybody's trying to bunker up.
San Pedro Belize Express anticipates that services will resume in a couple of days after damage assessments have been completed. We spoke with Max Grief, CEO of Tropic Air, to find out about the company's operation plans for the next few days.
We ramped up service for Tuesday, and then we're operating our full schedule for Wednesday. And then effective tomorrow morning, we'll be suspending operations. Our anticipation is that we'll be operating with minimal service beginning on Friday. That's also dependent on the government, making sure that there's an all clear given. But then we expect to be fully operational on Saturday as well.
Grief explained that while the company observed a slight increase in sales on Tuesday, it was offset by the cancellation of flights for Thursday. He said that despite the net loss, the safety of his customers is a priority.
At the end of the day, we're an airline. We're not a bank. We're not a grocery store. We deal with people's lives. And so we made the difficult decision on Monday based on the path and the trajectory and the strength of the storm and the expected landfall. So we made the decision to suspend operations effective on Thursday. I'll be honest, it's a difficult decision, but it's a personal decision. At the end of the day, if I don't feel comfortable sending my wife and kids, I'm not going to send anybody else's family.
Brittany Gordon for News 5.
As Hurricane Beryl approaches mainland, San Pedranos and other residents from Key Cocker who anticipate heavy wind and rainfall are seeking shelter elsewhere with family and friends in various districts. We spoke with Chief Transport Officer Leon Gentle to find out how many people are currently evacuating and what are the operation plans for the Transport Department when faced with an emergency.
As you may know, as a part of our constitution, it's we're not forcing anybody to evacuate. So at this point, we're currently working on voluntary evacuation efforts. What I can tell you is that the San Pedro coordinator, Ms. Vanessa Parham, who works closely with the islands, are currently in the process of ensuring that as much persons who are willing to evacuate are doing so now. The numbers that we've received so far from San Pedro and Key Cocker is somewhere around 1,300 persons from Key Cocker and 1,200 persons from San Pedro. And that's through one of the companies, the San Pedro Belize Express, who we do have an MOU with when it comes to these types of situations where we are asking persons to voluntarily evacuate. We also have that same agreement with the Caribbean Sprinter and those persons who provide that service for the Keys. And so Caribbean Sprinters so far has evacuated around 384 passengers, and to Corozal, the boat Thunderbolt has evacuated 96. As of today, 102 persons were evacuated as of 3 p.m. today. So the island and the town council, along with the NEMA coordinator out there, have been working diligently with the Transport and Evacuation Committee to provide that service for Belizeans or persons out there on the Keys. What I can also note is that the Coast Guard has been moving around in the smaller islands to provide information for persons who may not have the technology that provides that information for them. And so thanks to the Coast Guard, thanks to the boat companies to provide that support for us through the Transport and Evacuation Committee of NEMO.
The northernmost portion of Belize continues to brace for tropical storm force winds as Hurricane Beryl is projected to make landfall in the Yucatan Peninsula. Flooding in the north is a major concern as this system is expected to dump several inches of rainfall. NEMO's Corozal District Office says it is prepared. The office is encouraging residents living in low-lying, flood-prone areas to seek shelter. Residents have been keeping track of the record-breaking tropical system. News 5's Paul Lopez reports.
Right now, I don't have no plans because, we have to work and things, no? So, but we are above aware of it, but I don't I have no plans as yet.
Do you see people around you doing anything for preparation?
No.
Neighbors, anybody?
Nobody. Probably they're taking it lightly.
We spoke with May Dawn on Tuesday afternoon in Corozal town. She, like most of the residents we spoke with, was aware of the threats Hurricane Beryl poses to Belize. Marlo Portillo and his family had already stocked up on their groceries.
We got already, some beans, some stuff waiting for the hurricane. We see the people buying stuff more than other days,
Really?
Yeah.
You see a lot of people out here buying stuff?
Yeah, a lot of people buying stuff yesterday and today too. We pray to God, don't come to this way because we're scared,
Yeah.
The kids scared too,
Yeah.
We see everybody scared, so we wait God with the hurricane don't come this way.
The National Emergency Management Organization's Corozal District Office says it is prepared to weather the storm. District Coordinator Ronnie Hernandez says shelters are ready to keep residents safe. Shelters will open as the need arises. The most vulnerable in the population are also being considered.
We don't have 13 operational committees now. We have 15 operational committees. The 2 additional committees consist of Maritime and the Special Needs Committee. The Special Needs Committee reported that we have a plan We stick to the Corozal Community College. There is a building itself just for the old folks home, for example, here in Corozal, which are coast, and they are flood prone. So we do have a plan, we stick to that plan, and we do have a plan when it comes to the evacuation. These people can be placed there alongside with the persons that are in charge there that every day they're watching over them.
Apart from possible tropical storm force winds, flooding is one of the primary concerns in the Corozal district. Over the weekend, incessant rains led to unexpected flooding in several communities in the north. Hurricane Beryl will likely dump a significant amount of rain in these areas.
Right now, the entire north and part of central Belize, the soil moisture is very saturated. So there's not a lot of room to play for any waters to infiltrate through the soils. They're at capacity. They've taken all that they can take. And so what happens is that turns into runoff, it leads into flooding, and eventually goes to the river.
Mayor Rigo Veos weighed in on the possibility of flooding in the district, while warning residents not to take any risks.
I know they will have people who will want to come, and I know that they'll have people that will not want to come out, but like I said, this is something very serious. Even if it's just rain, it will be a lot of rain, right? And we need to be prepared. We need to, as leaders, we need to encourage people also that if they know that they stand a high chance of getting flooded, not to take the risk and to move into shelters. I know for now we're working very close together with DEMO, and of course NEMO is the one giving the advice.
Whenever you're going to a shelter, you know that you have to take your own food for 72 hours. After the 72 hours, then the Relief and Supplies Management Committee kicks in. I've always told my village emergency committee, but Mr. Hernandez, they asked me, what if the person does not have something to eat? So if the system is not coming, what will you eat? I asked them. So, but they have their tortilla, they have their little piece of bread. Man, bring it to the shelter. The humanitarian part of these other persons that are beside you will open a can, give you a sausage.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
The police also play a major part during the passage of a storm, and as Belize enters tropical storm watch, it means that the police duties will increase. Commissioner Williams says that various formations have their own plan to activate, which will include keeping the peace, while also keeping a watch out for the public moving around. It is selfless service because the officers must leave their own families to brave the streets and keep the community safe.
We met yesterday as the command structure, and the commanders were told to activate their hurricane plans, look at what we'll need in terms of supplies for officers who are going to be in the areas to be affected, as well as to make sure that we look at the hurricane shelters. We are working in tandem with NEMO. We get our instructions from NEMO in terms of how we move where the hurricane is concerned. But as a department, we must also put together our own contingents. So we already advise officers to make sure they look after their own personal security or safety of their families, so that if or when the time comes that they need to engage in hurricane duties, they won't have to be worrying about their families, where their families are. So again, it's a situation where police officers will have to leave their families to go and take care of other people. That's the vicissitudes of being a police officer, and we do this every day with pride and commitment, because we are adamant in making sure that we serve our Belizean people the best way we possibly can. So, what point? Generally, we are prepared. If the hurricane or tropical storm comes, as a department, we're prepared to police it as best as we can, along with the other agencies that we'll be working with.
After the break, the quarterly ComStat indicates a sharp rise in homicides. But first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
I'm connected. Yo.
I'm connected.
We're connected. Create the perfect broadband bundle that fits your style with Smart Connect. With the Junior Bundle, get 50% off your national calls and up to 6 gigabytes of data at no extra cost. Get postpaid added on for an additional cost of only $25 with the Prime Bundle. Stay connected with unlimited smart-to-smart calls plus 6,300 megabytes of data and free international minutes. For the family, get the Binge Watchers bundle with Netflix add-on for only $28.13 more. This bundle gives you 4 profiles with unlimited streaming on multiple devices. Visit a showroom near you to sign up and personalize your own bundle combination with Smart Connect. Smart, bringing people together.
2,251,000 slices of watermelon are eaten by tourists each year in Belize, benefiting local farmers and processors directly. Tourism means business.
For a premium lubricant when you're on the go, or a premium brake fluid when you need to stop, choose the brand that's built for champions. Come to Premium Lubricants, distributed by Enrique Martinez and Sons Limited, 2 miles Philip Goldson Highway, Belize City. WhatsApp us at 606-4154.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
The hurricane season is here. Are you prepared? Get the essentials you need to stay safe this hurricane season, such as plywood, tarp and rope, first aid kit, rubber boots, raincoats and rain ponchos, generator, portable radio and batteries, flashlight and kerosene lanterns. Weather the storm with these products and more from Benny's. Quality and savings.
Coming on the heels of the state of emergency that was extended to 90 days, the ComStat figures show that murders are on the rise. Today, the Commissioner of Police, Chester Williams, and the Minister of Home Affairs, Kareem Musa, met with reporters to explain how they intend to turn those numbers around within the 90-day period. Murders for 2024 stood at 57 at the end of June, compared to 45 at the same time last year. News 5's Marian Ali spoke with both officials and filed this report.
Major crimes for the second quarter of 2024 are reported to be on a decline, but the overall number of murders are higher than this same time in 2023. Today, during the Belize Police Department's Comstat conference, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams said these numbers are higher than last year's, but still lower than previous years.
The numbers for this year so far at the end of the second quarter, or mid-year, is reflecting a 22% reduction in overall major crime. But of concern to me is the increase in murders. Murders are up by 13 when compared to the same period last year. Last year around this time we had 45, and this year at the end of the second quarter we have 58.
Commanders will be tasked to review their crime fight. Williams said this is inclusive of robberies, burglaries, and thefts.
If your house is broken into and an item value $1 is stolen, it will be recorded.
Okay.
If you are robbed,
it will be included in major crimes?
Yes.
Okay.
If you are robbed and you are robbed of an item that values 5 cents, it will be included in the major crime category. The only one that we have that cost attached to is the theft, because theft per se is not really a violent crime. Theft, basically, many of the thefts that we have are instances where people have left their things carelessly, and then someone will just come and pick it up.
The murder rate in 2024 is a far cry from the 87 total number of homicides that Belize recorded last year. The Minister of Home Affairs, Karim Musa, believes that with stringent measures over the next few months during the state of emergency, those numbers can go down.
We anticipate over the next 2-3 months we should have a decrease in the number of murders, but at the same time we are not letting up whatsoever. We are applying the pressure at all the pressure points and making sure that we have the most efficient police strategies being employed, and that is essentially the reason and purpose for strategic sessions like this, the Comstat that meets every quarter, for us not only to review the data that we have gathered, but to translate that into making the necessary adjustments on the ground in terms of our operations.
We asked Musa what the plan will be if, at the end of the 90-day SOE, the murder rate begins to climb again. He said perhaps it would be time to amend the Constitution to allow for a gang detention period.
I think there is high time for us to have a discussion, a consultation period even, because I don't think necessarily the state of emergency was designed for this type of gang intervention, so to speak. And so we could start having the discussion of amending legislation, of even amending the Constitution for a gang detention period, as opposed to utilizing the state of emergency, because like you rightly said, there are just a very small few handful of young men that insist on carrying out this type of criminal activity. They do not want to change.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
The Ministry of Home Affairs and the Belize Police Department will not simply push for amendments to the Constitution for stiffer laws for gang and gun violence. Today, Commissioner Williams told reporters that during the 90-day state of emergency, they will conduct mediation sessions with the youth who are locked at the Belize Central Prison during this period.
Next week, we will commence intervention and mediation session at the Colby Foundation. That will be led by Mr. Noor Mohammed. The intention is for him to go in twice a week to meet with them in smaller groups and then see how we can eventually expand the groups. That will be done for the 3 months period of the SOE. Again, the objective is not to just have them locked up in prison, but also to see if we can find a way to help them to resolve whatever issues or conflicts that they may have. So we're hoping that it is going to bear good fruits. In terms of those persons who are still listed as wanted, the police are still pursuing them. Some of them may have left the country, some of them may be in hiding in other parts of the country, but we're hoping that the public is going to assist us in rooting them out from where they may be.
A bitter feud that continues to play out among rival groups in the West claimed the life of Anthony Smith on Sunday night in Santa Elena town. The 30-year-old Avila Street resident, according to Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, was a suspect in a deadly shooting incident that ultimately claimed the life of David Galindo several weeks ago. The attack on Galindo, who was also shot while purchasing food in Santa Elena, led to members of his family storming the San Ignacio Community Hospital and coercing the medical staff into providing emergency treatment to the shooting victim. It's a problem that the Commissioner of Police hopes to resolve with the establishment of a separate precinct in Santa Elena in the coming weeks. The Twin Towns, he says, are not part of the existing state of emergency.
We have to understand that, one, the San Ignacio Santa Elena area is not under SOE. So please don't try to, no, you just introduce it first by saying that since SOE. So in other words, you're trying to pull that into the SOE, which should not be. We have to understand that as police officers, we are creatures of law. There are several things that we would like to do to make sure that criminals are placed where they belong. But we cannot do it because we do not have the legal authority. While there are certain things that we want to get done, it is going to take a little time. I have met with the people of San Ignacio Santa Elena, have explained to them what we're doing, and that process is underway. We're still hoping that the police station for Santa Elena is going to be completed within a 1-month time frame that we had given the public, and we'll be able to house that police station with police officers. We already got a new vehicle that should be deployed to the area by Monday for the officers to be able to carry out their responsibilities. In the meantime, we have GI3 in the area. They're doing the gang investigations, and you know that the gang investigations are not an overnight investigation. These are investigations that takes at least 3 to 6 months to be able to gather all the information to convince a court beyond a reasonable doubt that these people are gang members.
In the case of Anthony Smith, who was shot and killed on Sunday night while purchasing food at a nearby fast food restaurant, the Compo says that law enforcement operations are being carried out every day and detentions are being made.
Time being, the police officers from SPU and the San Ignacio operation teams are conducting daily operations. We're detaining people for 48 hours. After 48, we have to let them go. We cannot keep them beyond 48 hours. So they are going to look for that opportunity again to do what they need to do, but we have to make sure that we do our part also to prevent them from doing so. So the police are doing as much as we can, and we'll continue to do so until we can get that police station in place in Santa Elena and staff it with police officers, giving them resources to be able to patrol that area. And even when that is done, we're still going to make sure that we continue to look at the past investigations in terms of the murders. We look at the gang investigations, all again with a view to make sure that we can interdict those persons who are involved in this back and forth shooting in the San Ignacio.
But is that Anthony Smith one especially painful for you all because you knew he would be a target, you know it's ongoing escalating retaliation, and bam, it happened. And is the shooter a minor, suspected shooter?
Anthony Smith was one of the persons who was suspected to have been involved in the murder of David Galindo. We knew, yes, that he was a target, but we cannot and will not be security guard for no criminal.
When we return, the commissioner's brother is arraigned and granted bail for cyberbullying.
Have you heard about the once daily pill that can help prevent HIV?
Pre-exposure prophylaxis, also known as PrEP, is a once daily prescription medication that helps you lower your chances of contracting HIV. PrEP may not be for everyone, so speak to your healthcare provider to find out if PrEP is right for you.
PrEP does not prevent pregnancy or other sexually transmitted infections, so it's important to use a condom every time you have sex and to get tested regularly.
PrEP, it's something positive to help keep you HIV negative.
You must be HIV negative to qualify for PrEP, so you need to get tested for HIV immediately before and every 3 months while taking the pill.
So what are you waiting for? Talk to your doctor about your risk of HIV and find out if PrEP is right for you.
Make staying safe a habit. Step up, PrEP up.
am Ronald, lineman lead hand at BL. We are an essential service and we are doing everything we can to make sure that we keep the lights on for our customers.
I work outdoors and my job is to provide safe and reliable power.
Our teams continue to serve communities across Belize.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speed flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a Lone Ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
My name is Denise Mala. I had an aunt, one of my mom's sister, that we believe died from cancer. She was relatively young. And my sister passed from cervical cancer. I have been doing annual checkups. Recently, after one of the annual checkups, I noticed, a change in one of my breasts. I went for the next checkup earlier and I brought it to the attention of my treating doctor. He looked at it and he said he didn't like what he was seeing. A biopsy was requested and then the biopsy came back positive. When you first find out these things, you think about a lot of things, and then eventually it comes around to the finance. I recalled this insurance, critical illness insurance that I had that I was paying, and that was probably the first time I read that contract. I read it in its entirety, and then I recognized that, this is going to assist me. I called the office, spoke with my agent. He was very helpful, guided me through what I needed to do. So I went through the process and I communicated with him a couple of times and he just informed me what was happening. In a pretty short period of time, I was paid my insurance. This plan that I had been paying for many years, in my time of need, that came through for me. Having that insurance helped me significantly. It is absolutely something that everyone should consider because you never know when you're going to need it.
Arthur Roy Williams, the brother of Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, is out on bail after being charged, once again, for posting about his brother online. In February, the 53-year-old was charged for using a computer system to disseminate false statement with the intent to cause another person to be subject to ridicule or embarrassment, and for using a computer system to publish computer data to intimidate a person. One of the conditions for bail on these charges is that Williams was not to post anything about the Commissioner of Police or the Belize Police Department. However, allegations are that he violated the conditions. He appeared in court today where he was read the single charge of contempt of judicial order. Williams appeared unrepresented and pleaded not guilty to the charge. Tonight, he is out after meeting bail of $1,000. He is due back in court on August 20th, 2024. Today, Commissioner Williams told the media that he had initially thought about dropping the charge against his brother. But after he made steps to try and resolve the matter, he discovered that his brother made another post on social media against him. That was the proverbial last straw, as Commissioner Williams said he has decided he will have his brother face the charges.
There was a situation, yes, where after the shooting at my house, my brother posted on social media that he was upset with the gunman because the gunman wasted the bullet and shoot it in the ear. In other words, he was trying to suggest that the gunman should have either shot me or my son. He had been on court bail for the previous incident, and to have gone on social media and posted such comment is a violation of his bail condition. So based on that, he was picked up, and I believe that he's going to be arraigned before the courts today.
And so should his bail be revoked, and should he be sent to jail?
Well, I don't want to wish bad for him. After all, he is my mother's son. I cannot change that. I wish he would change the way he behaved, because I personally have not done anything to him. I have always tried my best to reach out to him. When he needed help, I was there for him. All of a sudden, he became this total different person. I don't know if there's maybe something psychologically wrong with him. Maybe the court should order there be a psychological evaluation on him. But something is definitely wrong. I was hoping to see if there could have been some mediation. If a matter of fact, the mayor of Dangriga, Mr. Mariano, who happens to be our relative, had called me once. So did Mr. Danan Arzu, who is a very good friend of both of us. They both had called me and said that they would like to have a sit down with me and my brother to see how this matter can be resolved. And I said to them, I have no issue. And my intention was that whenever the matter would have been called up before the courts again, I would have withdrawn the matter against him, because he's my brother. Both gentlemen spoke to me, they spoke to him, and we were supposed to have that sit down. But the next day after they spoke to me and said to me what was his intention of trying to resolve the issue, he was on social media posting things again. So how can I sit down with somebody who is constantly saying things and do the contrary? So based on that, I decided, I'm not going to have no sit down again, just leave the matter to go through the court and take its course.
As it relates to the crime of cyberbullying, Commissioner Williams said it appears that some individuals do not grasp what the cyberbullying law stipulates and what is punishable by law. He says that if you receive data and/or images virtually and share it, you are breaking the law.
People seemingly are not getting the effect of the cyberbullying legislation. Some people believe that if they receive and they just forward, that they are not in violation, but the law speaks to either creating, publishing, or sharing. So if you receive it and you further share it, then you also commit the offense of cyberbullying. And it can be a video, a photograph, or even text could amount to cyberbullying, so long as it is done with the intention to intimidate or to subject the person to public humiliation or embarrassment. And when you look at the content of the photographs and the video footages, even some comments that some people post, it has certainly been done with the intent to subject those persons to public ridicule and embarrassment. So it falls within the limits of cyberbullying.
But still a complaint would have to be made?
Yes, a complaint will have to be made by the person or persons whom the post would affect.
One of the persons accused of cyberbullying lately is Joseph Camp, a man who has come out slamming the commissioner's son. Today, Commissioner Williams said that Camp, who is currently away, could face several charges if he puts his foot back in Belize.
The police currently have, I think, about 4 arrest warrants for Joseph Camp. Not just for complaints by me. There was also a complaint made by my son. He posted a number of things about my son. which are not true. If a matter of fact, my son don't even live in Belize. My son lives in Taiwan where he's studying. And so for him to have said the things that he said about my son is totally outrageous. And there is also complaint against him from other members of the public. So I believe that he is emboldened to make these comments because he is not in Belize. And so he uses the place where he is to make those comments from there. I had also reported him to the U.S. Embassy, and I'm hoping that they will see what they can do to be able to help to address the issue where he is concerned. He cannot come to Belize and feel like he can do what he wanted Belizeans and get away with it, because his constant cry is that he's an American citizen, like to say that because he's an American citizen, he's above us Belizeans, which is not the case. I believe that Belizeans and Americans and any other national are important people, and we will not allow ourselves to be subject to a person diminishing our nationality. That cannot happen, no.
Up next, Jaheim Fuller is charged for deadly Orange Walk attack.
MacNav Visual Strategies, where creativity meets business. Step inside our world of innovative visual solutions. From captivating graphic design to expansive wide-format productions, our services are tailored to bring your vision to life. Experience the impact of our high-quality signage and billboards, embroidery, promotional items, and professional paper printing, all designed to elevate your brand's presence. Every project reflects our commitment to creativity, quality, and client satisfaction. At MacNav Visual Strategies, we transform ideas into visual realities. Get in touch today.
La formación del Centro Neurológico del Hospital Galenia es que esas enfermedades que son altamente complejas y que muchos de nuestros pacientes tenían que emigrar hacia otra parte de la República u otra parte de México ahora puedan ser atendidos aquí.
La atención quirúrgica en el centro neurológico se forma dentro de un grupo multidisciplinario que incluye tanto neurólogos, médicos internistas, ortopedistas, neurocirujanos, pediatras. Y este esfuerzo que se ha realizado para conjuntar todos los especialistas es para siempre brindar al paciente un abordaje multidisciplinario y transversal.
Evidentemente, mientras más rápido podamos llegar al diagnóstico de los pacientes, más rápido podemos tratarlos, resolverlos y por ende mejor resultado vamos a tener al final. Entonces creo que la prioridad y el fundamento principal de un proyecto como este es justamente eso, que no se pierda tiempo de forma innecesaria para poder al final del día llegar al mejor de los resultados con un tratamiento completo, integral y oportuno.
Y las visiones desde diferentes perspectivas nos permiten tener pues el mejor tratamiento y la mejor opción para el paciente.
Tenemos la capacidad técnica, operativa, profesional y la infraestructura de poder establecer una atención neurológica de alta calidad.
Upcoming enhancements to My Social Security. The new healthcare provider feature seamlessly connects healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers to facilitate the payment of sickness benefits. Here are the enhancements. Registered healthcare providers will create and submit online medical certificates using their healthcare provider accounts. Insured persons will receive a link to view the medical certificate to complete and submit their sickness benefit claim. And employers will receive an email notification of their employee's sickness claim. Also, the insured person and their employer will receive a copy of the claim decision letter after review. Healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers are encouraged to create a portal account to access and benefit from these new services on My Social Security at ssbportal.org.bz. My Social Security online portal. Social Security at your fingertips.
Hi, my name is Lincoln Powers and I work at UMall. 100% I will recommend Belize Bank mobile banking to everyone because it saves time, money, and gas price because gas price is high right now. Belize Bank mobile banking just make life easier.
On Sunday morning, 60-year-old Norman Gillett and Leon Tasher came under gunfire as they entered a property in the Palmar boundary neighborhood of Orange Walk. Someone in a vehicle approached and shot at them, mortally wounding Gillett and injuring Tasher. Earlier today, police formally arrested and charged 23-year-old Jaheem Fuller, a resident of Orange Walk town, for the crimes of murder and attempted murder. The recent attacks on the police station in Roaring Creek, followed by the shots fired at the commissioner's house, is something that some would say is an indictment on the performance of the police department. It can also be seen as blatant disrespect for the Commissioner of Police and his officers. But the Minister of Home Affairs, Karim Musa, said today that the incidents are signs of the brazenness of criminals today.
What it speaks to, it's the brazenness within which these young men are now operating. And so there's actually no indictment on the police department when in fact the police department acted swiftly in detaining those responsible for that very heinous crime. And so it just speaks to a level of brazenness that we are now seeing in the young men. And again, I want to congratulate the police officers who acted very swiftly in detaining not just the young man, but there are other suspects as well being detained as we speak.
A storm is approaching the Yucatan Peninsula, and Belizeans are heeding the advice of the National Emergency Management Organization by stocking up on food and emergency supplies. It is the job of the Supplies Control Unit under the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise to ensure that businesses do not engage in price gouging practices. Over the past 2 days, 9 businesses were issued tickets for violations of the regulations in the Cayo and Belize districts, including Eric's Supermarket in the West Landiver area, which was found to be price gouging. These violations include failing to display the prices of control goods and selling a control good for above the control price. In a statement released today, the Supplies Control Unit assured the public that it will continue inspection activities and will engage local authorities to identify and address violations, and reminds business owners that the control price for 16-ounce sliced bread is $2.10 and not $2.25. The public is advised to report suspected violations to the unit. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.